Welcome back to Book Break. In this week's episode, things are getting a little bit musical. There are always those times when you're reading that a little bit of music can help you relax and set the mood. But there are other books still that almost demand you listen to music along with or after reading them. And those are the books I'm going to talk to you about today. I have 5 book recommendations here, all of which are phenomenal reads for literature fans, but will also appeal to those of you who are music fans. And for each of these books, I have a specific album to recommend to you to go along with them. So here are my top 5 book and record combinations. First up is the winner of the 2015 Man Booker Prize, The Brief History of 7 Killings by Marlon James. This is a multiple perspective story that follows an array of characters who are all tied together by one reggae singer, Bob Marley. Although the book doesn't follow Bob Marley himself, the events of the book centre around the attempted assassination of the singer in the 1970s. We follow characters in the lead up to his attempted assassination and after everything has gone down. In this story we follow journalists, gunmen and girlfriends and many more, each who has their own story to tell. But for the sake of being a little bit obvious, why not let music take you back to that time by listening to a little bit of Bob Marley and the Wailers themselves. This album is Catch a Fire from the early days of Bob Marley's career, when the Wailers were still the Wailers and not Bob Marley and the Wailers. It includes some of his hit songs including Concrete Jungle and Stir It Up. And this original record sleeve is a work of art in itself. From reggae to jazz, my next book recommendation is Trumpet by Jackie Kay. This is a modern classic that was first published in 1998 and takes place after the death of a fictional famous jazz trumpeter, Joss Moody. Upon his death, a secret comes out that nobody knew other than his wife, and it comes as a massive shock to their adopted son in particular. This is a tender read that deals with an array of emotions and would be perfectly accompanied by one of the greatest jazz trumpeters there were, Miles Davis. Miles Davis, who was making music around the same time as our fictional Joss Moody, was in his peak when this record, Kind of Blue, was released. So why not let Miles Davis on his famous trumpet, accompanied by an array of jazz musicians on their own instruments, aid in fully immersing you in the reading experience. But if there's any book that requires some listening whilst you're reading, it's Walls Come Tumbling Down by Daniel Rachel. Unlike the other books on this list so far, this is a non-fiction book. Subtitled The Music and Politics of Rock Against Racism, Two Tone and Red Wedge. Rock Against Racism was a political movement that was stirred up in the 1970s when musicians came together to campaign for tolerance and in opposition of racism in Britain. After the initial Rock Against Racism concert, musicians were inspired for years to come by this massive movement, and all of this is recorded in Daniel Rachel's amazing book. Given the number of bands and artists featured in Walls Come Tumbling Down, it's almost impossible to pick one record, so I've gone for the one that inspired the title, and that is by the Style Council. This is their second album, Our Favourite Shop, which includes the title song Walls Come Tumbling Down from Daniel Rachel's book. The Style Council's songs are politically charged and explore the lives of British people, and of course is closely tied to the Rock Against Racism movement. But like I said, there are too many albums in that book to mention, so luckily for us, Daniel Rachel actually filmed a record recommendation video with me a little while back, which I will link in the description box down below if you're interested. But my next recommendation is for both fans of comedy and soul. Yes, it is The Commitments by Roddy Doyle, the first in Roddy Doyle's Barrytown trilogy. The Commitments was first published in 1988 and set in Dublin follows a group of young people who form a band named The Commitments, all in order to sing soul music. This story combines passion for music and the comical everyday goings-on of people's lives. Of course, it's another one where countless soul artists' names are mentioned and songs are sung. So because I had to pick one artist, I've gone for one of my favourites, and that's Aretha Franklin. This record is her greatest hits, but in the original record, Lady Soul, you'll find songs like Chain of Fools, which are also featured in the soundtrack to The Commitments, because yes, it was turned into a stage play and a film, so you've got plenty of reading, listening and watching to do for that one. But last but certainly not least, I wanted to mention something a little bit different. This is for those of you that enjoy rap, performance poetry, and perhaps already Kate Tempest. I want to recommend to you her poetry book, Let Them Eat Chaos, which is one long poem that was originally based on the record under the same name. Kate Tempest is a rap artist and a poet, and she brings her words to life beautifully in her performances. But both of these works are unique in their own way. Although the same story and themes are brought to life in Let Them Eat Chaos's record and book, each one is slightly different, based on what Kate Tempest felt the specific art form needed. So if you've listened to the album, then read the book. And if you've read the book, then listen to the album. Both are unique experiences, but equally as beautiful. Those are all the recommendations I have for you in today's video though. I'd love to know if there's any books that you feel are perfectly accompanied by music and what music you like to listen to whilst you're reading. So do leave those in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to make sure you don't miss a single Book Break episode in the future, make sure you're subscribed and click the bell button below this video to receive alerts every time we upload a new video. But until next time everyone,